What is up, NFL fans? Kevin Phillip Fox here with the Legit Football NFL podcast. And you already know it's Friday. This is one of my favorite weekly traditions now. I ain't doing this show alone. I got my man from down under. I got Adrian Ravito coming at you all the way from Australia. Adrian, how the hell are you?
What up, what up, what up? I am fantastic. I'm going to apologize in advance to you and the listeners. You may hear a screaming infant in the background. He's just not happy today, but I'm happy. Dude, and I'm feeling great.
That's the homie, bro. Are you kidding me? He's making his podcast debut. I love to hear it, man.
I'm starting him early. You know, I figured I know how good it is. I want to get him in on it. So I'm trying.
Oh, dude, he's already doing a great job, man. If I hear any hot takes coming from the little baby, very pro Packers over there, I'll just know he's like father, like son, right?
He's absolutely. He hasn't got a choice. He's pro Packers by default, as I'm sure you were Bills.
Oh, 100%, bro. Yeah, I had Bills onesie, bro. You kidding me? Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way. Adrian, I'm super happy to be here, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. You know, I was in New York for the game last week. It was not as fun as I wanted it to be. It was not the blowout we had predicted, Adrian. It was
win's a win.
A win is a win, is the saying, right? It didn't feel like it. It felt gross and ugly, and I'm not super happy about how it went down, but you're right. We won the game. 4-2 is better than 3-3. I'll take it any day. Mr. Adrian, how do you feel about diving into our weekly segments?
Now, we do have to do that, but before we do that, I do have one thing I have to say.
Oh no.
This is good. This is giving you some flowers. Actually, this is giving you some Zay flowers, as it were.
Oh, let's go. I think I'll go with a final score of 24-16 here. How did I know, bro?
This was right on it, man. I was looking through the games and I'm like, because we've always talked about we're going to look at the scores and see if we get them right. I'm just checking through and I'm like, that mother effer actually got it right.
Know it was coming. You had to know it was coming, bro. That's fun. You're gonna have to send me that video. I gotta post that. That's dope.
It was actually a second game that you got one score right and the other one was off by maybe a field goal. I can't remember what it was, but
really close.
Yeah, man.
How about you?
Week for you.
How about you?
No, I was miles off on all of them. If I was anywhere near, I would have been pumping my own tires.
That is so funny, dude. I love it, man. Well, I'm glad we did it. Well, hey, what do we got, man? We got a couple teams with their first losses of the season. We have the Philadelphia Eagles falling to 5-1. San Francisco 49ers falling to 5-1. And both teams, Adrian, mind you, losing to what I would consider very inferior opponents. You have the 49ers losing to the Browns with PJ Walker, and you have the Eagles losing to the Zach Wilson-led Jets. Adrian, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, you're very correct. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is there a screaming baby coming through? No?
A very small amount. All good.
Okay, cool. You know what? It's fitting in theme with what we're talking about right now, really. It was weird games on both ends. Maybe do you want to talk first so I can mute for this baby to calm down?
1 sec.
So okay with that. This is a terrible start for me. Very unprofessional. All right, let's just talk about it for a second. I'll just stand close and talk quick so that you can't hear over it. So let's talk about the Browns first. It was all their defense there that really, PJ Walker didn't win them that game. Their defense won them that game. They are just killing it. Really, they've allowed the fewest yards per game through 5 games since the 1971 Colts, if I'm not incorrect. They, even without Deshaun Watson in, without Nick Chubb, you don't need to put up a lot of points when your defense is doing that. They really made Brock Purdy seem uncomfortable, seem erratic for the first time.
Oh yeah, Adrian, don't worry about it, bro. I got you. I'll step in. I think you're right. And don't worry about it at all in general, bro. We the legit football listeners understand, bro. We're happy for you, bro. New fatherhood. This is the joys of it. We're seeing it.
Questionable, but yeah, I hear you.
We're seeing it. No, the 49ers, it wasn't like some, S show, as we like to say on the show, family friendly. They really had it. They should have won that game. Losing McCaffrey doesn't help, right? Like McCaffrey was the engine of the offense. If you watch the first quarter, he was just unbelievable, as he tends to be. The touchdown streak maintained. The 49ers, I thought they were going to dog walk. It kind of looked like they were trending that way. Cleveland has an elite defense, and they, like you said, they stepped up. They made Purdy uncomfortable. The Jets did the same thing to the Eagles. They have an elite defense as well. Let's not forget, week 1, my favorite player, the king of the NFL to me, Josh Allen, threw 3 picks in a embarrassing loss to them as well. So this Jalen Hurts throwing 3 picks in an embarrassing loss to the Jets is not something that I'm, my panic
And
button is not pressed too hard for them.
weird picks though, and it's funny because that's the Jets defense was great last year, but they weren't forcing turnovers, and this year they just seem to be like they've just taken that extra step. That's covering Zach Wilson when it wouldn't have last year.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. And you know what? The 72 Dolphins remain the only perfect team in NFL history, and that's how it's gonna be.
And they get to pop their champagne a lot earlier this year than we're used to.
Yeah,
It's week
it's true.
6 is a very, very early time to have all the mighty falling, but I'm cool with it, man. It doesn't bother me. I think it's a cheesy shtick anyway. I want Super Bowls. I don't want weird records. You know what I mean? I don't care about that. So, you know, good for the 72 Dolphins, I guess. Next up on the list, and this is a sad one. This is a tragic one. If you had royalty-free piano music, I would say maybe
Uh,
this would be the time to cue it up.
I do
Um,
have it. I have all over this that. I don't have the
and that's
piano
fair.
music.
No, and that's not quite a piano, but that is how we feel about A Rich. Anthony Richardson's out for the year, season-ending shoulder surgery. I don't know if you saw this, but your boy actually went in there when the word broke that it was possible, and I flipped Derek Carr and a 1 for Anthony Richardson in our Superflex Dynasty League because I had a feeling Anthony would need quarterbacks with A Rich going down. And I feel like a genius, man. I like Anthony Richardson a lot in the future. This wasn't his season. He's hasn't quite figured out how to stay healthy yet. His 5-game sample size, 4-game sample size will be broken down to all hell. We'll be hearing all these narratives about he needs to stay healthy. He needs to reduce the amount of hits he takes, this, that, and the third all off season. And bon voyage, sayonara. What do they say in Australia when they say goodbye?
Look, the slang one probably laters, like
Laters.
laters. Yeah, I don't know if
Laters, and
that's
also boom goes the boomerang, right? He'll come back, right? I don't know.
Welcome to Australian Slang, the Adrian Rovito story.
I love this. That's beautiful, man. And that's what it is, bro. Boom goes the boomerang. Armand in the chat, we love you, man. We're happy to see
what
you
up,
here.
man.
We're just chopping it up about the last week's storylines. Super on button today. We have the first appearance from Adrian's toddler or infant, I should say, on this episode, which we're excited about. And yeah, so I mean, what is there to really say about this Anthony Richardson stuff? What does it mean for the Colts? What does it mean for the player?
Yeah, look, very shrewd of you to go pick him up. I did see that actually. I didn't really think of it that way. I thought you were just jumping in when you could get him a bit cheaper, but it makes perfect sense. In terms of the move, you know what's weird, right? I came and I think last week we were talking about Anthony Richardson, and I was saying, could he be glass bones? But then I sort of look back at the injury, the concussion. You know that can happen to anyone as long as it's not like a tour story, which is not normally the case. I actually kind of like what they've done here because generally what they would do in this scenario is they would keep trotting him out. As soon as he gets to 95%, keep trotting him out. Shane Steichen's talked about this is just best for the long term. He's the future of the franchise. And so we're going to get him this surgery and get him it's season ending, but it's best for his sort of durability long term. And to me, that's the way to do it because I would hate to see, such an exciting rookie. You'd hate to see his, second and third and fourth years plagued by injury when you could just really rip the band-aid off now. You know what you've got. You know this guy's a playmaker, and he is exactly that. He is a playmaker. He might need to, Trevor Lawrence gave him some advice of sort of the hit setup in this league, and he might need to learn that and sort of slow it down a little.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's sad to see, it really does suck. And it does feel like that every time I create the banners for what we're going to do here, it feels like we're talking about a new major injury every week.
And that's life in the NFL. And unfortunately, that's just what we've signed up for as fans of the game. And as they know that that's what they sign up for as players. So it's tragic and heartbreaking, and player safety should hopefully improve in the near future. But this one will definitely sting. As far as the Colts go, they do have a pretty competent backup. So I'm not mad at their prospects. I do still think they can be a scrappy team. What's the term you use? Plucky?
Plucky.
I do think they can still be a plucky team. Australian slang hour, Adrian Rovito. I do think they can be a plucky team and be a hard out. And I think Gardner Minshew is the backup you want if your quarterback suffer season-ending surgery. So
maybe Brissett only over him, but
right. Hey, but live long and prosper to A Rich. Sorry, Jimmy Ray. Mad love. to the player, and I'm happy to have him in Dynasty, even if I have to wait. It's like you get a toy, but you can't play with it till Christmas, and it's like I got a
It's a
year.
good investment.
It's tough. It's tough. All right, Thursday Night Football recap. Kind of a gross game, which nobody's surprised by. Gross
Mm.
pick six by Derek Carr. Pretty offensive quarterback play by Derek Carr on the whole. That's my guy. I'm the truther. I defend him. Hey, for fantasy football,
I'm
he got
losing
the
it.
job done. You're losing what?
I'm losing my like I was always a Derek Carr's better than better than he's probably played. Not better than he's played. He's better than the team he's been on. But he comes to the Saints. There's all the talk about he's never had a top 10 defense, and now he's got one, and he's just kind of dog's breakfast, man.
Dog's breakfast.
I gotta turn down that Australian slang. I really.
No, please don't.
What's the American version? What would that be?
Dog water.
All right, well that's just
dog water.
He's playing dog water, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, bro. He threw for 300 yards and should have been 2 touchdowns. Should have had a shot to fight in overtime. So I'm not really that mad at him. I mean, statistically from a fantasy perspective. But yeah, the eye test, those Olave targets were gross. The underthrown deep ball to Shaheed was gross. So I don't love what we're seeing from him, but I don't hate it, like the way people do. I think he can right the ship. He's clearly banged up all over the place. His groin, I'm a little bit more empathetic to the Derek Carr cause.
You're forgiving. You're forgiving. I agree with you, but I agree with you that he's banged up. But I do think, look, some of the mistakes he made, that underthrown throw was I know you can put that down to
egregious.
But it was terrible. Yeah. They converted. This is terrible. They converted 2 of 15 third downs. Now, admittedly, 4 of those out of 5 they went for it on 4th and converted. So I'll accept that if you want to up that number to make it realistic, 6 out of 15 3rd/4. But it's pretty terrible.
Damn, dude.
And we haven't really given the Jaguars some flowers here, but I have to say, Calvin Ridley take I had at the start of the year, my Calvin Ridley love, and I don't want to back down from him because I think he can still be the difference maker. Barely involved, man. 1 catch, 4 targets, 1 catch, 5 yards. Christian Kirk went off for 90 yards. Travis Etienne is like one of the most touch. I don't know how to phrase this right, but he gets the most touches, one of the most touches in the NFL at the moment.
Heavily utilized, yeah.
Yeah, that's heavily utilized. It's a good way to put it. But you know what? Trevor Lawrence still outrushed him, even with an injury. So
and Trevor Lawrence looks damn good running the football, man. On the Jag side of the ball, Etienne he's gonna be that guy who's getting the work between the 20s. He's so explosive. He could take any play for a touchdown. We've learned he's got like this sort of gliding running style. I really love watching Etienne play. Armand points out the Carr maybe should have had surgery on the AC joint and missed some time. It might be true based on what we're seeing from those throws, but here we are. He didn't. He's out there, and so
you know what? That's kind of what I'm saying when we're talking about the Colts. I think Shane Steichen's got the leash to say, okay, forfeit the year, but Dennis Allen doesn't have that same luxury. He's got to keep Carr going and hope play for his job. So and that's sadly it's a story of a lot of NFL teams. It's like they've got to put that guy in right away.
Yeah, remember Burrow with the calf, Allen with the UCL. I would like to see players a little more savvy about their futures, but I digress. This game should have gone to overtime. We were robbed. We did, I did call it an ugly game, but that doesn't mean it wasn't entertaining. It was poopy, but it was high scoring. There was some fireworks, and it should have gone to overtime. Foster Moreau, cancer survivor. We all love and respect his story a lot. Everybody knows he's got to catch that football. I was actually watching that game, and I yelled Tutty when it happened. I was like, Tutty. And then I saw the ball hit the turf, and I was like, no. And I was like, it was devastating because I had a couple over-under parlays that were just about to cash with that catch.
Damn.
With overtime. But that's life. Life as a gambler, we know we know the risks we take, Adrian.
I feel you. It's true. And you know what as well? Like I recently had a couple wins on a couple parlays, and it's funny, you get a couple wins, your sports bet account goes up a little, and you're like, it's kind of playing with house money.
Yeah.
I just start putting weird. Yeah, I just start spending some whack bets.
Yeah, absolutely. Homer Hill.
Actually, I shouldn't have moved this on. Are we good to cap on the Jag Saints?
Jags good to go. Good to go. Homer Hill's a fun one this week because I was actually in attendance at Bills Giants last week, as you all know from me being in my mom's attic for the pod. And let me tell you, I had a great time. I did indeed break a table.
Did you seriously?
I
you
did actually.
legitimately?
I gotta send you the
That's
video.
so
I
awesome.
gotta send you the video. I actually did it on Peacock. There was a Peacock stream that they needed somebody to break table for. It should be on national TV at some point.
That's
So
amazing.
watch out for that when you're watching your Bills coverage on Peacock. But it was my tailbone was hurting for a couple days. I'm not gonna lie. I did butt first. I think that's the only safe way to do it. Personally, I see all the people doing the
Is there a
suplex.
safe way to do it? I don't know if
I
there's
don't
any
think
safe.
so. No,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, there was no, but it was a great time. Tough game to watch, man. Let me tell you. I did
I
not
was feeling for you.
enjoy. I did not enjoy myself as much as I wanted to. But win's a win. Is a win. Is a win. Is a win. So,
Counts the same.
are
I was
you? What's your?
expecting some messages and some things, and then when I started watching the game, I was like, oh, okay, he's probably not gonna be
Not
running
in the
to his
mood.
phone.
He's not in the
Yeah.
mood. Tell me, Adrian, what's your panic button level on the Bills and their offense?
I still am not panicking. I still am not panicking. I think there's an element of you had Dable on the other side of the ball. He knows your
Right.
team very,
Yeah.
very well.
Tyrod played really, really passionately. Tyrod looked good.
he gave the Giants the best quarterback play they've had all year.
Yeah.
So my panic button has, and to be honest with you, actually hasn't gone up. Sure, it's
You're
a
one?
rough game. Yeah. And
Wow.
this is the thing as well. Like, I don't know if I'm one. Look, maybe let's say 2.5 to 3 just because of the first game of the season as
I
well.
was
But
thinking 3 too.
yeah, a good team, a bad team loses this game,
Yeah.
or like a middling team loses this game. The
Yep.
Bills, everyone has an off week. You find a way to win. The Chiefs did it recently as well. Like, you're a good team, you find a way to win. And even in these ugly games, it's weird, but I still feel like you've got a good team. You've got all the right pieces. You got the right front office. Josh Allen is a star that people need to stop sleeping on.
Yeah,
And
I agree. I appreciate that, man. I agree. My panic button level is lower. At the game, I felt like, oh, shout out to Mike here. Bills need a stronger running game. Pounding the rock to eat the clock is not happening. No, it's not. They're not doing they're actually, believe it or not, that's the narrative. But believe it or not, they're actually pretty effective running the football. Baby Cook's having a good year. Latavius Murray is wildly efficient with his touches. Prayers up for Damian Harris. Scary sight to be in attendance for what happened there. But definitely Latavius Murray and James Cook. I'd like to see Josh get a couple more designed runs. I know they're trying to, we've talked about the concerted effort on keeping him safe, but keeping him healthy. But man, he's just such a weapon with his legs, and we're not really seeing it a ton this year. I digress. I think, Adrian, my panic button is at a 3 as well. And the reason why, at the game, I was screaming like Dorsey should be fired. He sucks. I was mad, But then
in them feels.
I did some all 22 reviews, and I listened to some really, really smart podcasts. I love the Locked On podcasts. If anybody's into like their team, like Adrian, I don't know if you've ever checked out the Locked On podcasts. Not a sponsor, but they have dedicated.
Now they should be.
They have dedicated. They should be. They have dedicated content creators who make a show every single day for so they should have Locked On Packers. They have Locked On Bills. And Joe Marino for Locked On Bills did an all 22 review, and he talked about guys were being schemed open, and at times the Giants defenders were making good plays. At times Josh Allen wasn't seeing them. We had the Gabe Davis fumble. We had the Stephon Diggs drop. That's the first half. Bass missed a couple kicks. Second half, Adrian, Bills get the ball with 9 minutes left in the third quarter, and they score a touchdown on that drive in the fourth quarter. So that's an 11-minute drive. When you're down 6 and you score a touchdown, I mean, you can't really ask for more than that. Next drive, they get the ball back. They're down 2 points. What do, Adrian, with their second drive of the second half? They go and score another touchdown. So that's a 100% touchdown percentage in 2 drives where the game is competitive. Next drive, you're trying to milk the clock. They did a risky 3rd and 8 pass play where Dawson Knox drops the ball.
Ouch.
Should have been a first down. Should have ended the game. Unfortunately, that led to that drive that Tyrod had, which was just masterful, getting the Giants down to the 1-yard line. And everybody who says that there should have been pass interference or holding on that call I don't know what the respectful way to say it is. Can kick rocks. They can kick rocks. Kick rocks. They can kick rocks.
And
because
now,
you know what?
We welcome you back to another episode of Kevin Translates Words
that
young people use.
I didn't say the words though that I should have said because you know what?
But kick rock sounds young. That sounds youngish. I mean,
well, because I think it's older because I think that what young people say is worse.
That's fair.
I gave the G or PG version of the young people thing. But the point is, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. The game was, I'll say, less than evenly officiated. I don't like to say that, but I like even games, and there's a reason why they had
Yeah.
the call at the one off the pass interference play called the moment earlier. So I digress once
I
again.
think if they'd called that holding, there'd be about 75 different clips from the Bills showing all these different, because there were those pass interferences that didn't get called. Like, you've just
Literally, you
got to,
feel me? Thank you. See, you
yeah.
understand. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, 100%. So,
The thing I'll say with it is, sorry to cut you off, is that
no, please.
the thing I'll say is that when these things come down to like this one call or this last call, it's like, you know what? You put yourself in position to be one call away from losing. So you can't just blame that one call. I'm sure there was other points left on the field for the Giants that they could have scored and didn't because of bad calls, because of bad decisions, bad coaching. You can't look to one call and say, well, if that call was right, we'd win the game, because you had 59 minutes, 59 seconds, as you said, of things that you left points on the board.
Yeah. And I mean, Tyrod at halftime, some of the worst clock management I've ever seen, checking into a run and then not getting the kickoff. It was embarrassing. How about your Packers, man? How are we feeling about them right now at this moment?
Yeah, look, there's not much to say because they had their bye, so I don't have much change from last week. I was going to talk about my pseudo team in the Falcons, but they're coming up next, so I'll leave it for
I
that.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, but look, the Packers, I think they're good coming off a bye. Matt LaFleur is a good coach, especially when you give him a bit of time. And hopefully Aaron Jones is back. That'll make that has made such a big difference to what is otherwise an extremely young offense. So I'm not overly. I think the thing with the Packers is I've come into this year with that massive expectation. So it still sucks to see them lose. I'm still ruins my day. I remember early on in this podcast, I lied and said, well, if the game loses, it doesn't ruin my day. That's not true. That's true. I don't know.
I know.
You know, just trying to make stuff up. I was new to the show. Yeah.
My days get ruined. I feel you.
I'm PO'd. So yeah. So it is what it is. I'm not panicking yet because I'm not expecting a massive year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I still think that the number one priority should be isolate the Jordan Love variable, find out if he's the guy. I think that it's trending, yes, but we have seen some more concerning things of late. So that's what I'll be watching. I'll be watching Jordan Love with a close eye this week because it looked like we had our answer early on. And then we've seen some regression. We've seen some not so effective quarterback play in recent weeks, especially against the hapless Raiders. Embarrassing that they lost that game. Armand Homer Hill wrapping it up. Congrats to your Jets knocking off the undefeated Eagles. We did cover that in the opening segment of the show, but Armand's got to be elated to have a 3-3 record with Zach Wilson as your QB and having beaten two of the best teams in football. I got so much respect for the Jets. They're plucky. That's a plucky team. So I'll be
extremely plucky.
I'll be very excited. And just Breece Hall to the moon. I've been saying that for fantasy all season. So I love Breece Hall. Adrian, are you ready to dive into our game previews?
I'm marginally ready, given the sound you can hear in the background.
We do have some toddler action, so if you want to throw me the first game and as many as I need to do, that'll work for me, man.
Now, look, we should be okay. I think he's gone upstairs now, so
he's settled.
If it comes in, yeah, I'll jump in first. So
I love
it. So we've got the Falcons and Bucks first. So this is what I was going to talk about. My pseudo team. I had a lot of Falcons love at the start of this season. I feel like the Falcons are an abusive relationship to me. And let me explain why. 2 out of these 6 games, Desmond Ridder goes for 110 passing rating plus. He's got 3 games with 0 interceptions, 3 games with 1, 2, or 3. Every game there's Bijan snapping ankles. The Falcons do just enough to keep me coming home. You know what I mean? Like, I leave, I'm going to leave him, I'm not coming back. And then they just do just enough. Maybe it's a nice text message, or maybe they buy me something and I come back and I make that mistake every time. So I'm decided that it's time to. I'm not off the Falcons, but until they get rid of Ridder, I am out of this relationship. It's kind of like an ultimatum now. I don't think Ridder's the guy. I think Arthur Smith knows it, and I think he needs to stop sticking by his dude.
You decide this after he starts to have a breakout and starts to funnel Drake London with targets.
That was 2 games ago. 1 game ago, he went back to his old ways, and I just, you know what it is? I think it's this. I think in NFL, in this league, you can't hide behind a bad quarterback. You can hide behind a middling one with pieces that make up for it, but you can't hide behind a bad one, and they don't have the defense to cover him either. So I'm off the bandwagon. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't love him anymore. I'll always love them in their own way, but
It's
I
one of
think
those.
until they change, I've got to step
You're
away.
just gonna take
Uh,
some space. You're gonna try to both grow individually and see if you can come back. It's a little bit of a break. I can dig it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can dig
So
it.
look,
That's
it's not
healthier.
over. It's just he needs to make choices. He being the Falcons, it's a weird way to phrase it. Needs to make choices to fix his problem.
Yeah,
So
100%.
there's that. Then looking at the Buccaneers, who are also kind of my suited team, because I love Baker.
You
I
love
love me
Baker.
some
You
Baker,
do. Yep.
and he's been great actually. Sorry, great's probably an overthrow. He's been pretty good. He ranks fantastically in third downs. I think he ranks third in third downs. The problem is that he also ranks 24th in the early down. So it seems like he's making those mistakes at the start.
Yeah.
Rashad White is
Putting them
not
behind
getting
the
enough.
sticks, right?
Yeah, and Rashad White's not really getting running. He's not doing fantastic. He's 3.3 yards per game. His biggest game was 73 yards. Hasn't even gone over 100 yet. So the Bucks have the pieces. They've got so many talented players. They should be able to do well, particularly if Baker continues to play well. So I'm going to put the Buccaneers on top here, which does hurt me a little to do. But I'm going to say 28-17.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I think the Buccaneers will find a way to get some stuff going on offense against the Falcons. I think the Falcons will try to slow the game down like they've done all year, and I don't think it will be successful. Buccaneers have kind of a scrappy defense. They have some really good linebacker talent. I think I will go with Buccaneers 24, Falcons, I'll say 16. My signature pick, the one that I made last week that got me my video, 24-16. You ready to
Anyone who's
ready?
just joined, you need to go back to the start of the show and see the video of Kevin picking the correct
Crazy.
scores.
Absolutely crazy. All right, you ready to move on?
Let's do this now. We've got a special game here. We've got our new signature Dynamite game coming up.
I love this game, man.
You
I
ready
love
for
this
this?
segment. I'm ready. Is this me? I'm the Dynamite
is
game
you.
this week. Let's go.
I'm gonna put the vote that we have 2 Dynamite games this week, but I'll put the vote there. But you ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'll dive in. What's my time? How much time do I have?
Hold on a second. Let's just put the tape on. Attach it to
Here
the
we
game.
go. He's strapping it up.
Hold on a second. Yeah, all right. We'll just set the timer. We need
This
60
game,
seconds
the
on here.
Dynamite game, guys, is a trash game, and we want to blow it up with Dynamite and send it into the moon. There it is.
You're on.
So we have Raiders, Bears, 2 backup quarterbacks, Tyson Bagent and Brian Hoyer. Your boy in a Superflex Dynasty League where I just traded away Derek Carr. I have CJ Stroud and Dak Prescott both on bye. Believe it or not, I used my fab money to go get Bagent and Hoyer, and it's disgusting. But in a Superflex, I'm starting them both. So I'm looking for fireworks. I don't think I'm going to get them. I'm going to get a Dynamite boom. These defenses are bad. These offenses are sus. And with backup quarterbacks, they're probably worse. I think the Raiders will probably get some stuff going because they have good weapons. Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Jacoby Myers. Who would have thought Jacoby Myers would be such a dog this season? The Bears, I don't really think Tyson Bagent is going to be opening it up too much throwing, so I'm fading DJ Moore in this game. I don't think DJ Moore is going to have a great game. If anything, if Roschon's healthy, I think Roschon can make some stuff happen. So I'm looking at a disgusting game, and I'm thinking that this final score is going to be Raiders 18, Bears 13. Boom. Goes the Dynamite. You're muted. Boom goes the Dynamite.
I said absolutely nailed that 60-second breakdown.
Thank you.
I have to say 2 things about the pieces. So to anyone who didn't watch last week's show, the pieces are now laying scattered on the floor. We've blown this game to smithereens. I'm just going to talk about the pieces for 2 seconds to say Hoyer hasn't won a game since 2016. And I don't think that's going to change. So I'm going to say, what was your score? Sorry?
18-13.
I had 10-20 Bears winning.
Ooh, okay. I have the Raiders winning.
18-13. Okay, cool. All righty. Loved it. I
Love
that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
It is, isn't it? All righty. Colts at Browns. So we just talked about the Colts. This one sucks. So this is likely a battle of the backups, although Watson is trending towards playing. He has practiced, but it's still in the air, and I think it's a game time decision at this stage. Richardson, as we know, is out. So that really sucks because I think Richardson versus Deshaun Watson would have been a quite interesting game. 2 mobile quarterbacks, 2 guys that like to get out of the pocket. So the Browns defense here is the story of this game because they have ranked number 1 in run and pass defense. They are, like I said, they've allowed the fewest yards per game since the 1971 Colts. They're going to I think they're going to make Minshew really, really uncomfortable. the Colts, when they played the Jags, who have a really good run defense, just kind of dared the Colts to throw. They were giving them one-on-ones all over the place, and they just loaded the box. And Minshew just couldn't do it. He couldn't bring. He doesn't have enough firepower. He's a good backup by backup standards, but he's not a good starter by starter standards. So, to me, the Browns are probably going to win this one through their defense. With Watson trending towards playing, I'll give them a few more points in this because originally I would have thought that with PJ Walker, they're not going to get very far. Colts do not have the defense to slow down Watson, particularly playing, but even PJ Walker should do enough to win them the game. You know, I don't know. It sucks that it's another game where we're kind of robbed. I don't know if you feel the same way, Kevin. I feel like it could have been a really good quarterback
Super
battle.
robbed, yeah.
Yeah. Not that Deshaun Watson is playing out of his mind, but I feel like it could have been enough here.
No, he's rough. I've been saying.
No, and he is like, I keep saying he's going to come back, but I think at this point we have to accept he's not the quarterback he was.
He's mid at best. I think mid is a compliment. I think that's being generous.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, actually, and we didn't give Armand gave you some flowers on the Dynamite.
Oh, appreciate that, Armand. You're the GOAT, man.
So I think low scoring affair. I will say 21-13 Browns way.
Oh, 21-13. I'm going similar. I'm going to go 27-17 Browns. I think Gardner is probably going to throw a couple picks, to be honest. I think this is going to be a bit ugly, but I think he'll do enough because he's got weapons as well. Pittman and Josh Downs.
I feel like Pittman's the only real worry, though.
Yeah,
I don't know how you feel, but he's the only.
I mean, they got JT.
Threat.
You know, I mean, we'll see if JT starts, getting some magic going. But I'm pretty out on the Colts being super competitive, especially against a defense as good as the Browns. So I'll say 27-17.
Yeah, and I think like Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Grant Delpit, they've just got a great secondary. Like they're going to be picking him off, I think. So it's going to be. Look, it won't be. I don't think this will be a pleasant game to watch. It won't be great on the eyes, but I think the Browns. If you like defensive football, watch the Browns. Like they really are just like out of this world this year.
Yeah, no, they really are. It's beautiful to watch.
Take it away.
Right. Here we go.
This is a great game.
Fun one. Oh man, I really wish we had Anthony Weiner here. Lions at Ravens. Ravens are 3-point favorites at home, so it's a pick 'em essentially. Over under at 42. Man, I just think that the Lions are playing with too much mojo. I don't really see much of a chance for the Ravens to put up much of a fight. I think the Ravens will be plucky as they tend to be. The Ravens are like the kind of team who's always plucky, even when they're contenders. It's kind of just their way to win. And I happen to be a little bit of a wizard when it comes to picking the Ravens scores. I do think the Lions will get a little bit of magic going on offense. I do think that they'll make it harder on the Ravens than we think. I'm forecasting a Jahmyr Gibbs breakout game. Please don't let me be wrong. Fantasy football, NFL football. I've been on the Jahmyr Gibbs train.
He's back playing this week?
He's playing this week, and he might be the sole survivor of the backfield. There's no warm bodies. So I think I'm going to take Detroit 27, Baltimore 22.
I just looked up their depth chart just to see their IR at the moment. David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, Donovan Knight. So first, third, and fourth, all out. Jahmyr Gibbs is the only sole survivor.
He's the warm body. So I'm looking at a big Gibbs game, and I believe I said 27-22.
Which way?
Lions. Stand by that. Upset, I guess.
Yeah, I would say that. Look, I think the Lions are playing as good as anyone at the moment. Jared Goff is playing the best football of his career. I mean, So I think that they can hurt you a couple of different ways. The Ravens, they lost during that game to the Steelers. They killed themselves. So their wide receivers need to step it up. I also don't know where you're at. I don't know if you're sweating here because this is the 7th week for OBJ, who has not yet hit any of the things that I put in my call your shot. So
wait, what did we need? What did we need? I forget.
So he needed no. I said that by week 7 there'd be no games over. I think it might have been 60 yards.
Crap.
Yeah, no games over 60 yards. I can't remember what it was. There was something. There was another element to it of average yards per game. But I know for sure he's under.
Is he cooked?
Oh, he's done. He is. Now look, we admitted that he's had a couple of weeks off with injury, but I'm still gonna victory lap because I've had a couple of things go wrong.
Oh,
so yeah, that's it. I think he's done. I think he's very much done.
What's your score prediction?
Oh, let's say. I think this is gonna be high flying. Let's say 31-27.
31
that
to
that wouldn't be a score?
What you
26,
got?
no, 27 to yeah. Alrighty. I've got the Lions for sure.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Yeah, I hate how good the Lions are this year. Like they're
Yeah.
an NFC North team, but you can't hate Dan Campbell. I don't know. Does anyone hate
No,
Dan Campbell?
you
You
can't.
can't
You
hate him.
can't. He's so likable.
I'm going to propose that this is another dynamite game.
Oh, here we go. And is this me as
You
well?
no, this is me, but you tell
Oh.
me if you're comfortable with this being a dynamite game. I don't want
Oh, sure.
to. I
Yeah,
don't want to
that's
starve our fans.
no, that's totally fine. Fire it up, man. I like one each a week. That's
Let's
fun.
do it. If there's the game for it, let's do it. All right. Okay.
Strapping in the
Start the
tape.
dynamite. What's going on?
The
It's absolutely
timer.
going on. We need the timer. Set it to
I will
60
have
seconds.
pieces to pick up after watching the Giants play. in
Yeah,
person.
I don't doubt. I don't doubt. So let's go. So these two teams are absolute trash bags in terms of sacks, and I'm going to say trash bags without. I can back that up with stats. They're ranked 31st and 32nd in sacks
Yikes.
allowed. The Commanders being 32nd. Then they are the next most team has 25 sacks. So it's 31 and 32 sacks versus the next most 25. The Commanders' defensive line is going to collapse that pocket regularly. So I think Tyrod Taylor offered the best quarterback play they've had so far, but I also think that the Commanders' defensive line, not that I'm ragging on the Bills here, is going to make Tyrod Taylor a lot more uncomfortable this game. The Giants, I've only had, guess how many sacks Giants have had all year? 5. I'm getting timers getting
That's
down.
not bad.
They have 5 all year, and they blitz more than anyone in the league. I think the Giants' schedule has a chance to right the ship after this if they can squeeze out a win. It's Commanders, Jets, Raiders, Cowboys, Giants, Pats. So they could course correct here, but I'm going to give Washington the win. I think they're going to make it very uncomfortable in an ugly game. I'm going to say 25 to 17.
Nice.
And
I love how ugly the score is. I love that 25 to 17. Dude, got nothing bad to say about the prediction or the dogging on of the teams. Here's a piece I'll pick up. The Giants are looking like they got some fight in them, and I saw it
for
with
1
my own
week.
2 eyes. But that's all you need to turn a season around. Do we know, is Dimes playing? Or is it
No.
Tyrod?
I
Tyrod
think
still?
it's Tyrod. I'll double check just in case.
If it's going to be Tyrod, I'll pick them to win. I think Tyrod is a good quarterback. He was playing against a really good defense. Yes, the Bills are banged up, but you mentioned the Commanders making them look more uncomfortable than the Bills D-line did. I believe the Bills still sacked Tyrod 3 times, and they still hit him a ton. They pressured him on a high percentage of his dropbacks. He's just Tyrod. He's really good at getting the ball out quick. He makes really smart decisions. I think Tyrod's going to shock a lot of people this week. I got Giants 20, Commanders 17.
Yeah, okay. Let me write that down. 20 to 17. I hear your point about Tyrod still being like he's still mobile and he's always been able to escape pressure. I think.
Wait, the Commanders are dogs? No, that's got to be minus, right? There's no way they're dogs.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
They got.
You are correct. I am. That's the scab
special
producer
for me. No, all good. Scab producer, all good. Hey, you're like an offensive lineman. If we don't notice, you're doing a good job.
That's what I'm about.
You're good. You put on your hard hat, you go to work. Okay. From Dynamite, from sending it to the Sun to a game I'm excited to talk about. My Buffalo Bills, which I already broke down the last game, so I don't have to touch that at all, taking on the New England Patriots, who just dropped a complete stinker to Brian Hoyer, 21-17. Adrian, we said Mac Jones was booty. We are looking like geniuses, okay? All these people who are saying, oh, it's the system, it's the this, that, or the other. Come on, bro. Eye test. Thank you. Eye test. That guy can't play football. He's if he was around in the early 2000s, he'd be fine. He'd be a middle tier Chad Pennington level quarterback. It's 2023, baby. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, it's 2023, baby. We run, we throw, we off script, we bomb. He can't do that stuff, man. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. He's a fine backup. He'll make a lot of money holding Josh Allen's clipboard. I'll take him, honestly. But he's not the guy. So this game is really interesting to me because I made a lot of excuses for Ken Dorsey in my breakdown of the Bills game last week, and I feel good about it. I feel like Dorsey's not the problem. It's execution. We can't have stupid drops. We can't have stupid fumbles. Bass needs to make his kicks, which he usually does. He hadn't missed a kick all year going into that game. He misses 2, almost 1 that cost us the game. Dalton Kincaid's going to be back. I'm pretty sick and tired of Dawson Knox masquerading himself as a $42 million tight end. I just don't think he's been worth it personally. Unfortunately, I love him as a player and his
He's done some things, but I
he's
get
done
you
some
know
things, but
you gotta love what he's done for the Bills in the past. But I
right,
hear ya.
need some more consistency, man. You can't drop the ball with the game on the line. That's not gonna fly. So Josh Allen, he's been great. He hasn't been the problem in any of these iffy games. He carved up Jacksonville in a loss. He like I said, there were 2 drives in the second half against the Giants. You want to be mad at his statistical production, that's fine, but he had 2 fourth quarter touchdown passes. That's what I care about. So
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a full-on get right game because the Patriots are pretty good on defense, but I do think the Bills take care of business here. And I will say the Bills do it 34 to I'll say 20.
Yeah, I think you're even being a bit too nice to the Patriots in scoring anyway, because I think historically the Bills have owned this game,
Yeah.
and they sent the Patriots an embarrassing fashion in their only playoff run in the past 5 years.
That was dope.
Yeah, I think so. Belichick's coming off 2 of the biggest losses of his career. I don't want to predict another one. But I'm gonna say, are we still? I said this to you and Jimmy. You both said I was crazy. Are we still convinced Bill Belichick is safe?
I still think so. Yeah, personally, I think he's got diplomatic immunity, bro. 6
Okay.
rings, diplomatic immunity.
Let's say 31-13. I think they're gonna trounce him.
I like it. I hope so, man. Shit. I hope so, man. I'm sick and tired of these. I'm sick
Chase,
and
cover
tired
your
of
ears,
these.
baby.
Yeah, I'm saying sorry, Chase. Sorry, 12-year-old listeners. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of these close games for the Bills, man. I need a Sunday off. I need to have a good
Yeah.
time where I'm sipping coffee and eating freaking croissants by noon, you know?
That's why I know. I know Armand said that he was going to enjoy this bye this week, and I think that was me last week. It's like I didn't have to worry about the Packers. I could just
I love
watch
that.
some football and
I
enjoy.
love
Yeah,
that.
it's nice sometimes.
All right.
But that's it. I do miss them.
Age, kick it off, man. Steelers,
All right.
Rams. Who you
The
got?
Steelers are such an odd team. They're coming off a bye. They're 3-2. They are not that record. They don't deserve to be 3-2. Here's a couple stats for you because Jimmy Ray's not here, so I have to scab NFL stats because I feel like I like to be that person. Their offense is ranked 30th in EPA, 32nd in the red zone, 32nd in passing points per play, 31st in pass blocking. Pickett is always frantic. He doesn't have the people around him. Now, that said, Pat Freiermuth is back. Your boy Deontay Johnson is back. I know you love him, and that makes a big difference this week. They need people back in the game. Pat Freiermuth.
Muth got ruled out last minute.
No.
He's back to being out. Go look it up.
Oh, damn. Oh,
I know,
man.
He tweaked.
That sucks for my fantasies. Well, I don't know if I've got a backup for him. But anyway.
Oh, hey, let's talk. I got some guys.
I might have to be making some trades.
Right.
Their offensive line seems so solid at the start of the year, and it's been terrible. So and they're going up against Aaron Donald and a defense that's probably playing a bit better than the pieces around it because while they have Aaron Donald, there's not a whole lot else going there. Stafford is one of those people that's just playing amazing if you protect him. And he's been playing fantastic football, but you got TJ Watt here, so
I love the if. That's a big if.
Yeah, it really is.
I think against Cincinnati, and we saw them crumble.
If they let people get to him, and like I was about to say, TJ Watt is tied atop the league for 8 sacks. If they make Stafford uncomfortable, he does tend to make mistakes, and he has those games where he just crumbles. He's a little bit, he's a little bit like Josh Allen in this. Is when he falls apart terribly, and it only happens 2 or 3 times a year, but it does happen.
Yeah.
So I think the Rams do business here. Kyron Williams is out. His backup Ronnie Rivers is out. So they are just at the moment they're just practicing a bunch of rando players.
Gaskin, Henderson, Royce Freeman.
Miles Gaskin was on there. Shot.
Exactly.
So I still think the Rams take care of business here. And I am going to say they take care of business at 20. No, I can't go 28. Let's go 24-17. That might have been another one of my squads.
I like it. And I'm going to call my shot here, Age. I'm going to get real specific. This game's going to OT.
Wow.
This game's going to OT, and the Rams are going to win.
Wow!
The Rams are going to win 19-16.
19-16 OT. If you get that score, this video parade next week will be insane.
If we get that score, then we clip this and we post this to Legit Football socials because there's no way.
Every week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I might just get one, bro. I do have a crystal ball.
All right, you. I actually, as I'm looking at these games when I split these games between us, I felt like I was feeling some love for you, Kev, because you got some killer
I
games
do. Look at this
in
one.
your
This
slate.
one's exciting. This is the one I'm other than Bills Patriots, just because I'm a homer. This is the game I'm the most excited to watch. Dolphins at Eagles. Eagles, defending NFC champions, are 2.5-point favorites at home. The over/under is set at 51. Man, Adrian, it's kind of like strength versus strength here because Philly's been winning these games not with super dominant offense. Not with they've been pretty damn good on defense.
Squeezing them out.
Not so great against the pass, which Tua should have a field day. Okay, I'm looking for Tua and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to absolutely go nuclear. I think Tua could throw for 400 yards and 4. I think the Eagles, on the other hand, are going to have to get the ball going on the ground. That's going to have to be the way that they beat the Dolphins, because Hurts has been a little sus through the air, honestly. Hasn't played
Even
the
on the
part.
ground, he hasn't been himself on the ground either. If I'm being honest,
Yeah,
like he hasn't had
he
those
finally started having
smashing games.
a little bit more juice last week. I saw some scrambles where I was like, okay, because I've kind of said like he looks a little slower. I wonder if he's dealing with something, or if what that is,
Did he
or
maybe beef up a bit over this? I don't know, but I hear your
he's
point.
always been big. He's always, I mean, he's small in the height, but he's always been pretty jacked. I do think, unfortunately, division rival Miami is going to take this one. I'm a little less confident in the Eagles after what they did to the Jets and how they kind of collapsed that game. I will say Dolphins win this game. I'll say it's a close one. I'll say 34-28.
All right. Yeah, this is I don't know if you're a fan of Ace Ventura.
Yeah, it's a classic.
This is the Ace Ventura Bowl because Dolphins and Eagles were playing at the end there.
Oh, nice.
When they
nice.
got Dan Marino back in. So
That's dope.
fun little fact.
That's
so
fun.
yeah, everything you said is on the money. I know that I think that this is going to be such a high-powered game. The Eagles have been a little underwhelming. The Dolphins really haven't looked vulnerable often, except against your Buffalo Bills, really. The
Yeah.
Patriots made them a bit uncomfortable. So I think, you know what, I'm going to actually copy your Dolphin score, 34, but I'm going to say to 31. I think,
Nice. I thought about that. Yeah.
It's rivals, and I think Tua and Jalen Hurts, they were both, who they play for now? Is it Ohio State?
They played for Tua, and Jalen Hurts played for Alabama.
Alabama, sorry. So that's right. So yeah, so they sort of had this. Yeah, they got this, and Mac Jones, who's just sitting off in the side that no one cares about.
Yeah,
just stop.
Yeah,
just stop.
I got nothing.
Just trying to be
say.
cool.
I'm gonna bite my
that
tongue.
meme with like the 3 dragon heads, and there's the 2
yes,
really
yes,
yeah, that's
then the goofy one. That's him, dude.
Yeah.
Armand projects a low scoring game here. We all agree Miami's got it, but Armand says 27-21, so that's pretty interesting.
It's something that's considered low scoring though.
I know
27-21 is like for them. Yeah,
it's the under. It hits the under. Age. What's next on our schedule? We're flying
my
through
boys.
the show. Oh, let's go, Homer Hill.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're in luck though because we're flying the show because it's got the most teams on bye of any week. So it's always going to be
Bipocalypse
good for us.
Love that.
Yeah. All right. So the Packers, as I've said, they're historically good after a bye. What matters here, what will matter here more than anything is Aaron Jones getting back in his role. So he's healthy, quote unquote. Again, he's still listed questionable, but Matt LaFleur has talked about getting him more involved. They've taken him out a little bit lately, and to me, that's been the problem. If you notice, the first 2 weeks, Aaron Jones was on fire. He got injured, and their offense just went to pieces. They got dynamited. They took our dynamite game on their offense. They are facing the Broncos defense, who are ranked dead last in scoring. So they allow 33.3 points per game, dead last in total defense, allowing 440 yards per game. They should be able to eat here. And if what I will say is this, my panic scale is not super high on Jordan Love because I appreciate it's his first year as a starter.
What's the number out of 10? We need a panic button sound. That's a fun.
We
that's
do.
A fun one.
We do. What about this one?
That's intense.
Prepared. So I would say it's at a 4.5 to 5.
Okay, I would say 5 to 6. So
yeah, I'm not hitting the evacuation button yet. Like I'm not the eject, but if that's what I'm. However, if they were to lose this game, or he looks terrible in this game against the defense that really can't stop anything, that to me would bump my panic scale right up there. And they would drop to 2 and 4. Lions would walking away with this division. And hopefully they're getting Eric Stokes back. He's not back yet, but that he'll be back for the first time in a year. Jair Alexander's still questionable. Devondre Campbell is likely out, so their defense is banged up as well. Fortunately, they're going up against Russell Wilson and an offense that really get it going.
Yeah.
Again, their last 3 games, one game they put up 8 points, one game they lost to the Jets. They needed to come back to beat the Bears, who still put up 28 points on them. So I feel good about the Packers winning this. And I feel good about Jordan Love getting right. In fact, how about we call the Jordan Love get right game?
Like that.
And let's say 28. So let's say he goes all for all tuds, no field goals, 28 to 13.
28 to 13. I like it, man. I'm
can I make that? Sorry, can I make that 20? 28
sure.
to 20.
20 to 20. I'm very in on the Packers this week, bro. I think they should have a huge week. I think I'm starting Christian Watson in fantasy over Mike Evans. I'm letting Mike Evans ride the pine. I'm doing it.
I think he might be listed as still questionable.
He'll play. He'll play.
He'll play, but if he's injured, he might be on a snap count. Or no, he's not. He's not. He's not even designated injury.
I'm not worried about it. I think Watson is. I'm firing him up. I think Love needs to have a 250-3 kind of game for me to feel better about him. This Broncos defense. Yes, they did kind of make Pat Mahomes look pretty human last week, but they are looking like historically one of the worst defenses of all time. So give me Mr. Adrian Ravito. Give me Packers. I'll go even a little harder than you. I'll say 31, and I'll say 31-17. Blowout.
That would make me happy. Yeah. If you were to say 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely 1 being no chance, Jerry Jeudy on the Broncos next month.
5. No clue.
No clue. Okay.
50-50.
Cortland Sutton.
I'll say 7. I'm pretty sure he'll stay.
All right, cool.
He's better.
It seems like they're shot. Yeah, it seems like they're shopping everyone except Satan. So interesting.
That's the one I want.
Yeah.
All right.
All righty.
All right. How many left?
We've got 3 games.
3 games left. We're absolutely crushing this. So me. Let's go, Age. Cardinals at Seahawks. Seahawks 8-point favorites. Over under 44.5. Seahawks at times looked a little underwhelming this year.
Is that a disrespectful line? 8 points favorite seems disrespectful.
I don't think so, because the Cardinals have come so hard crashing back down to earth after their plucky start to the season. So I think I'll give the Seahawks, who are 8-point favorites, I think I'll give them the advantage in this game. I think Geno should carve them up. I'm looking for Geno to have a great game. We've been kind of expecting Geno to be this, massive fantasy player this year with 300-yard games, multi-touchdowns, got some of the best receivers in the league. JSN, best receiver prospect in this many years, yada, yada. But he's throwing the ball to Bobo. So I don't really know. I'm looking for a big game personally. I would like to see the Seahawks explode against the Cardinals. I don't know if they will, because the Cardinals have been so plucky. I think I'll go with Seahawks 24. I'll say Cardinals. I'll say 16. That's just my go-to. 24-16. I love that.
Right on the line.
Yeah, for you, my good sir.
I looked it up just so I could give the stats here. So Seahawks have the 3rd ranked rush against the 26th ranked run defense in the Cardinals. So I think the Seahawks will be able to get it on the ground. But that usually means a lower scoring game. So let's say 21-16. Seahawks
21-16. I like that.
I don't think they cover 8 points. I think the Cardinals are a little better than their record.
God, what are they? 1-5,
I think.
Yeah, sheesh.
I think they deserve to be better than that. I think
they could be 2-4.
Kyler's practicing again, so he may be back.
That's very interesting. I'm excited to see what happens with Kyler. If he comes back, they could be ascendant. They could be better than we thought.
Yeah, and look, you coach, see what you got. I feel like they're going to be too quick to give up on Kyler. Like, he's an above average quarterback.
Yeah,
I understand he's small.
It's just a far from exciting game to talk about. This one, it's close to dynamite for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Here we go. This is dynamite, but for the good reasons. Come on, Age. Take us home.
I need 15 minutes on this game. No. All right, let's. Mecole Hardman back at the Chiefs. Mecole Hardman is going back. So he wasn't much for the Jets, but he did make an impact for the Chiefs. He's not a dynamic playmaker by any standards, but you're going to a team where their leading receiver is rookie Rashee Rice. So you need some weapons there. I still think they need to be involved before the trade deadline, and that's a big question for me. The Chiefs, we live in this weird world, right? You know, if you could turn the clock back, let's say, I'm going to say 5 years. No, that's probably too far. Turn back 3 years to find us in a world where the Patriots are one of the worst teams in football, and the Chiefs' special side of the ball is the defense. I'd be like, "What are you talking about? That
Weird.
ain't happening." Yeah,
Weird.
but look, the offense still gets it done, so I can't take it on. But the reason they're able to make mistakes and the reason they're able, last week they're throwing all these trick plays is because the defense picks up the slack. So, I think they need to pick up something before the trade deadline. I think they should be in the Jerry Judy sweepstakes. I think that Patrick Mahomes would make him into the receiver we want him to be.
I
But
think so too. I agree.
alas, we are where we are, and the Chiefs are a defensive team at the moment, and I think that they're going against the Chargers, who have been a problem defensively despite having a defensive head coach. These two teams have historically had amazing games. So 5 out of 6 games between the Chargers and Chiefs have been a one-score game. 2 of those went to overtime. We love seeing Justin Herbert. I know your wagon of Justin Herbert isn't the man we all want him to be, but there's games
100%.
to see him turn it up.
Hey,
he is a
Age, was he the
fraud.
man we wanted him to be on Monday Night Football last week
I don't want to talk about it.
when they lost 20-17 and he overthrew
Well,
Keenan
but
Allen
he
by
still
a
played
mile?
good. He did tank in the last quarter and he did make some mistakes, but for 3 quarters he was strong. But I'm not saying that's enough, and it ain't enough against Patrick Mahomes. You know
Hey,
what?
he might be a top
you can
8
victory
guy.
lap.
I keep hearing he's a top 5. I think he might be top 8.
I think people would be hard pressed to make that case this year. I'm not saying
Yeah.
he's got the mechanics. He's got the tape. He's got the eye test.
If
But
anything, he
doesn't
could be
have
top
the
5
result.
only based on how most of the main quarterbacks have been bad.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
I
fair.
think Josh Mahomes and even Burrow with his last stretch, I think they're the top 3 still. And then
Yeah,
Hurts has been rough.
Tua's got to be in
Brock
there.
Purdy's got to be in there.
Purdy's
Tua's
gotta
got
be
to be in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And like it's funny actually. I see sometimes I'll see like, and I'm sure you see them as either on Twitter, on Facebook, or whatever. You see those comparisons, and they'll be like Jalen Hurts versus Dak Prescott, and they'll cherry pick 3 or 4 stats
Yeah.
where
Those are
Dak
so
Prescott is
stupid.
equal or better. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool. He's better in those 3 or 4. What about the 15 other ones that matter for a
Yeah,
quarterback?
the cherry picking is stupid. I agree.
So this is going to be a fireworks game. This is going to be an overtime game. So we're going to get our 3rd overtime game.
Oh, I love that.
Of their matchup, and it is going to go. It's going to. All right, how about this? They're going to go to overtime at 31 apiece, and I'm going to put the Chiefs to make a game-winning drive with an initial touchdown. This is super specific, but I'm going to do it anyway. If you score in overtime, do you get the field goal? You don't, do you? It's a walk-off.
Yeah, it's a walk-off, I believe.
So let's say 37-31.
In the playoffs, they're going to do both teams get a ball even if you score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but in regular season, it's
So you said 37-31?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go with I like where your head's at. I'm not going to say quite overtime, but I do think the Chargers are going to pull this one out. I know the Chiefs are 6-point favorites, but I mean, Herbert, calling Justin Herbert, man, calling this alleged top 5 quarterback shows who you are, bro. I'm going to go with Chargers. I'll say 29, Chiefs 27.
Chargers 29, Chiefs 27. But I will say, either way, no matter how you look at this, bang the over on that 48 points.
Yeah, should be fun.
For sure.
Hell yeah. Last
Take
game,
us home, baby. Take
us home. 49ers at Vikings. The Vikings are 7-point favorites. The over-under is 44 points. That's wrong again, Adrian, respectfully. I believe the Vikings are probably 7-point dogs, not favorites.
Did I put favorites again?
The minus is the favor because
yeah, no, you're right. And it's
all
actually
good.
6.5.
It's all good. The Vikings
It is
are
not. I have
7
to
point-
fix it.
Dude, I believe in you. Scab producer, you gave up 2 sacks today. No biggie.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Nothing more, nothing less. Hey, look, the Vikings are 7-point home dogs. It's 6.5 now because of Scab production. But it's a 44-point over under. Look, I think Kyle Shanahan and who Kyle Brandt has dubbed Bot Purdy, they're going to come out pissed. They're going to come out fired up. I think they're going to embarrass the Vikings. I think we're going to look at sort of what we saw when we saw Niners Cowboys on TV. If anything, I think the Vikings can just get that signature Vikings drive or 2 going where they get some big plays through the air and score a couple of touchdowns. I will go. I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be a great fantasy option today, but I think this game is going to be 41-24 49ers.
Yeah. Garbage time points or
some garbage time points. Maybe they'll keep it close in the beginning, but I think the 49ers are just too good. I think they'll pull away.
Yeah. Yeah, the Niners have been lucky. So I know Debo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, and Trent Williams all ruled out of being serious injuries. I
Nice.
think I don't know if they're all playing this week, but they're not serious injuries, which is
Yeah.
good. So they got lucky there because those three pieces make a difference, as we learned last week.
Yep.
I like your score here. I think the Vikings get trolled. I still think Kirk Cousins still plays to, even without JJF, he still plays okay.
Mhm.
He's still making a case to be picked up next year in free agency.
Oh, 100%.
I will say I do think they come out pissed, and I think that Brock Purdy plays a great game. So I will say 31 to. It seems to he needs to he will get more touchdowns than that. No, I'm sticking with it. 16. That's what came to my mind. Field
31 to
goals galore for the
16.
Vikings.
Adrian Revito, we did it. We made it through every single week 7 game because that's what we do on the Legit Football Friday
pretty
show. We have a recap and a preview show. Can you play that again, please?
Yeah, it's pretty staggering.
I love it
that,
every
man.
time.
I miss him so much. I miss Jimmy. I miss Anthony. I miss Brian. Adrian and I are just here picking up the pieces every week. And I honestly, I'm really excited to do it, man. I'm happy we're doing this. This is really fun. Shout out to Armand for showing some love in the chat all day. We appreciate you. Special shout out to our regular listeners, PK Martini, Joey Crack. I know y'all are out there listening. You know, it might not be in the chat live, but I know you're catching up because it's what y'all do as well. Adrian, anything you want to say to the good people before we wrap this sucker up?
Yeah, same thing I say every week is just thanks everyone. We love you guys. Like, subscribe,
really
tell
do.
your friends.
We
Just,
really
you know what, and we will remember you when we're interviewing players on the field. We'll remember you,
We will.
and that's
we
all
will.
I'm saying.
We'll bring you,
know,
with us. We'll get you in the
Members
box
of the NFL media get certain amount of Super Bowl tickets. That's all.
That's
I'm
what I'm
saying.
saying. I couldn't agree more, brother.
Yeah, that's the quickest
Adrian,
way in.
you killed it as always, dude. Scab producer. Hey, no scab to me, bro. You're a fully healed scab at this point to me. It's just a scar. You're scar producer.
I love that.
I appreciate the listeners, man. Kevin Phillip Fox, Adrian Revito. This has been the Legit Football NFL podcast, and we are out.